Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal Podcast on this 22nd of July, 2019. I'm your host, Ril Dil Quinn, discussing the world of sports and pop culture again on this Monday. Hopefully, we're at the end of this just blistering heat wave that started out on Friday, that's carried throughout the weekend. Hope everybody stay hydrated. Unfortunately, there was a tragic death of a ex football player on Saturday. He was out doing some yard work, and he died of a heat stroke. And it was well over probably 100 degrees, probably like 110, 115 in terms of the heat index. You gotta stay. Just talking to my mom, you have to stay prehydrated. You can't go out there and start drinking water right when you go outside. You gotta drink the night before, drink the morning of, and what have you when it comes to this type of heat. But if you're in the DMV, if you're on the East Coast, you're supposed to be getting a little break from it starting tomorrow. So hopefully things will get back to normal as far as the weather goes. And that's your weather report from the Real Deal Podcast. Busy Monday, a busy weekend, a lot to cover. I wanted to start off with Kawhi Leonard, and it got to a point to where I frankly was done with Kawhi Leonard, with the talk of why Kawhi Leonard left, went to the Clippers, and to me, it just got to a point to where I was getting tired of hearing about it. It's like, okay, he made a decision. Oklahoma traded who they traded. The Clippers got rid of who they got rid of. Let's move on with the rest of our lives, our sport, our NBA lives. But when you hear some new things come out, allegedly that Uncle Dennis Robertson, who of course is his business manager, agent, um, uncle, that that's been certainly his almost like a basically like his father figure when his father passed away years back, was coming out basically making demands on terms of sponsorships, wanting guaranteed sponsor money. Again, this is alleged accusations coming from Al Toronto and going around the league over the last couple of days. And here's what I'll say. Number one, he went to Toronto. He went to the Clippers, Lakers, Toronto. Get over it. It's done. Especially if you're Toronto. He never was going back to Toronto. Never was going back. That wasn't. I don't think that Toronto was even an option. I thought he did Toronto a favor by even giving them a meeting, flying to Toronto, basically give him like he paid his respects as far as when it came to Toronto, just giving them that meeting. He did not have to give him that meeting. He really didn't. He could have just easily, he probably should have just went. He probably should have just been like Lakers, Clippers between those two teams. Those are the only two teams that should have got a meeting. But again, won a championship there. He certainly enjoyed his time there over the course of the season as far as what transpired with, again, them taking out Golden State in 6 games. And I just think that he was just being respectful. I think there was just hey, I think it was kind of like an appreciation to the organization and to the fan base just for him to have that meeting. So I don't want to hear anything come out of Toronto. The bottom line is Uncle Dennis, Kawhi made a decision. They got everything they wanted, and they are on a team that can win a championship next year, and can win it for the championship for the foreseeable future. So whether or not he demanded sponsorships and guaranteed sponsorship money, who knows? There's no way to prove that unless they got rooms tapped or phones tapped. There's no way to prove that. And if the NBA wants to investigate, go ahead, investigate it. That's fine. But as much tampering that goes on in the NBA with these deals, basically at 5:59 p.m. on Sunday night June 30th, deals were done at 6 o'clock on the dot. I mean, everybody knows it's tampering. Everybody knows that there's tampering. Everybody knows that there's back. Everybody knows that there's deals under the table that we probably are not privy to as as fans and as media alike. That happens in that happens in any line of business. Period. This is big business. It's competitive. These teams are fighting for tens of millions of dollars. Hunts in certain cases hundreds of millions of dollars when it comes not just championships. Like Kawhi Leonard is worth to the Clippers. He will be getting Kawhi Leonard and Paul George will be worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the Los Angeles Clippers. It goes beyond just putting a competitive team, a championship team on the floor. So this, again, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Is it noteworthy to talk about? Sure. But even before this came out, I thought it had gotten to the point to where we had expunged every you know fiber of Kawhi Leonard going to the Clippers. It was like let's just move on from it. Kawhi's legacy. The clip the you know did the Clippers did the Lakers what do the Lakers look like now, or what is Kawhi, does Kawhi have pressure to win? Like it was enough already. You milked that. Listen, we that cow was milked for a good week and a half, for a good 2 weeks, which is fine because there was one of these deals. It was it was basically once in a lifetime deal in terms of how it went down, considering what two superstars in their prime going to one team, the amount of draft picks. So I understood the attention and the necessary attention that deal garnered. Summertime, the NBA was on fire as it goes in regards to the trades and free agent signings and some of the storylines that had taken place after the finals. But the media, whether it's debate shows, y'all milk Kawhi to a T. Y'all should media should these media publications should be paying Uncle Dennis and Kawhi for all the content that they milked out of Kawhi Leonard. Because every single day, Kawhi this, it was Kawhi that, it's Kawhi, Kawhi Uncle Dennis, Kawhi Nick Nurse, Kawhi, Kawhi San Antonio, Kawhi Lakers. What's the real reason why Kawhi didn't stay in Toronto? It was like enough already. Like, come on, let's get some. Listen, there's plenty of things going on out there in the world, in the sports world. There's plenty of content, even in the summertime. It's content on top of content. So I don't buy. I don't know whether or not none of us knows whether or not these requests were made. Now Toronto is a credible organization, but they also lost a MVP, All NBA, arguably the best player in the world. So you could say there's some sour grapes. You could say that um, that they thought that they had a legit chance at getting him. If they believe that, then they were frankly delusional. Because I didn't think that I personally myself didn't think that chance existed. I never thought that he was going to Toronto. To be honest with you, it just didn't. It just didn't make sense to me. So you had that. Um, as far as the NBA goes, again, I will continue from here until his basketball playing days are over to give credit to Kawhi Leonard and Dennis Robinson. Now, I've been consistent in the past 2 to 3 podcasts since all this went down in terms of that, and there's nothing that would persuade me from giving him continue to give those guys the credit. They deserve all the credit in the world for making this deal making this deal go down. The Clippers deserve all the credit in the world for creating a culture that he wanted to come to. Period. And pulling off the deal. And again, we've seen the Boston Celtics not even would be willing to trade multiple draft picks and wait for that quote unquote perfect deal. There's no such thing as a perfect deal. There's no such thing as a perfect deal. So again, we have milked Kawhi to death as far as content. Like he needs Kawhi. Like again, the media owes Kawhi some money as far as content that's been created. How about you get some sponsorships from that? 9 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour on this latest edition of the Real Deal Podcast. News out of the NFL. You have Tyreek Hill seemingly not is not going to get suspended or get any punishment from the NFL. Apparently, the NFL hasn't been granted the necessary access to evidence or information that would help the NFL proceed in determining whether or not Tyreek Hill should be suspended. This is somewhat confusing to me because I don't understand why the law enforcement or Kansas City prosecutors would deny the NFL that information, even if they didn't believe that enough was there for a conviction. So the NFL does its own investigation based off the information that's provided. The NFL is using their own resources as far as the investigators, attorneys. That has nothing to do with the state of Missouri. It's not coming out of taxpayers' money. They're not using resources they're not using resources from Missouri, St. Louis, and Missouri, Kansas City law enforcement. So I don't understand why they would deny them that access to the necessary information, even if they didn't believe that they had enough evidence on Tyreek Hill and his fiance or girlfriend about the hitting his child. This is the type of thing that will have someone thinking conspiracy in terms of the NFL possibly paying people behind the scenes to try to make this go away. This is an embarrassment to the NFL. I can make the case if I wanted to be a conspiracy Rillo, I can make the case that the NFL, talked to the right people, made the necessary phone calls, and went out their way to try to make this thing go away. So two things. Number one, it could be a non-story going into their 100th season, and number two, they don't even have to spend any of their money in terms of for lawyers and investigators and what have you. I can make that case based on what has transpired. And it certainly is. I don't think it's be out of the realms of possibility that possibly happened. To be honest with you, because again, it makes zero sense why law enforcement or why Kansas City, why those prosecutors would deny that evidence. Like it makes no sense to me. Matter of fact, to go out, they went to go out their way. They had to get this exception that denied the evidence, or some type of a special exception. So I don't. Again, this sounds to me. This has NFL smoke written all over it. This has something. This is more to this than what's initially coming out. I think certainly more. If somebody wants to go out there, some investigative reporters wants to go out there and look more into the story, I'm sure something else will come out in a couple months or so. But right now, the NFL wants this thing to go away. And to me, they do the NFL a favor. Like the NFL will, I read a couple articles about it makes the NFL look bad. It'll make the NFL look bad for about 2 days, and then we'll move on to the next, you know, Ezekiel Elliott holdout, or Todd Gurley's knee, or Aaron Rodgers with a new coach. We'll move on quickly in the 24-hour news cycle, especially with NFL training camps kicking off, starting today. So I think that it's something that the NFL certainly it doesn't. It's something that just doesn't sit right with me as far as it's not that simple to me as just Kansas City wanting the Kansas City law enforcement, them wanting this to go away, or them all of a sudden want to do a favor for the NFL, or thinking that Tyreek Hill is innocent. I don't believe that for a second. That they believe now. Maybe they think that there's not enough evidence to convict Tyreek Hill. That could be, that could be possible. That and again, it makes sense for Kansas City, for their law enforcement to say, you know what, this is not worth us using resources or wasting taxpayers' money in terms of investigation. I understand that from that standpoint. But all of a sudden, they care about NFL resources or how much the NFL spends in terms of conducting their investigations. I don't buy that for a second. So it more will come out. It always does. More will come out, and that's the one thing about 2019 and information and social media, things like that. It eventually will come out. But again, I would not be surprised whatsoever if the NFL, you know, greased some palms. I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me. It would not. Would it be? Would it be the craziest conspiracy to believe that the NFL made some calls, you know, and worked with Kansas City's law enforcement not for that information to come out, or to make it seem like that the NFL couldn't get access to that information. So again, this story will go away in about, what's today, Monday. You won't hear about the story for you'll hear about the story probably tomorrow, maybe into Wednesday. By Thursday, they'll be talking about veterans reporting to the training camp. You'll be talking again. You'll be talking about rookie quarterbacks who are highly drafted. Will be the Ezekiel Elliott holdout, or not holdout that hasn't happened yet, but alleged a holdout that could possibly happen. That'll be at the top of the heap as far as being newsworthy. So the NFL knows what they're doing. The NFL will make sure to me that this story is a non-factor going into their 100th season. It's been a major month. I would say the last 6 weeks in terms of albums coming out. You had Nas come out. Nas come out Friday. You had Big Crit, Freddie Gibbs, Dreamville. So after a slow start to the world of hip hop in the beginning of the year, it's picked up quickly and seemingly won't be slowing down anytime soon. You got Rick Ross will be coming out in August. In regards to the Nas album, I was thinking about this with Nas. Over the last 2 weeks or so, we've watched three legends perform at an advanced age in their respective fields. Last Sunday, you watched Roger Federer almost win a Wimbledon at age 37. You watched Saturday night Manny Pacquiao take out a guy, Keith Thurman, who had been previously undefeated. And hopefully you've listened to what the Nas album. Now keep this in mind, and I'll get to the Pacquiao fight in a couple of minutes. There's something to be said for anyone in any genre. I don't care if you're a teacher. I don't care if you work construction. I don't care what you do. There's something to be said to stand the test of time. It really is. And to listen to that Nas album and to think about the fact that these are his throwaway tracks. These are tracks that did not even make the album. That this album would be better than, say, 99% of the best album that 99% of the rappers would ever come out, who have ever came out with. This would probably be their best album, or better than their best stuff. Think about that. Like 99% of the rappers that have come out, this album would be better than their best stuff. Like maybe that 1% probably Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z. You can say Biggie, you could say somebody like, you could say like a Rakim, somebody on that level. But beyond that, so that just tells you where he's at right now. And again, these are throwaway. It's hard to even say it, but these are throwaway tracks. These are throwaway tracks. Just out of curiosity, I'm not trying to start anything here, but where are Jay-Z's throwaway tracks? Anybody? So we've heard Kendrick's throwaway tracks. Remember, that came out about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, 2016. It's about 3 years ago. I wonder what Jay-Z's throwaway tracks are. But, that's another story for another day. But I recommend Lost Tapes 2. Strongly recommend it. It is from start to finish. The storytelling, the production, of course, the lyrics speak for themselves. It's a feel good album. It's an album if you love just bars. It's an album if you for a grown man, you know, over 30. So the album covers all this. One of these albums that you can listen to throughout. I don't. There's no to me. I wouldn't skip any tracks. So I strongly recommend it. And again, it's Nas. What else? It's the GOAT. As far as the Pacquiao fight, I thought it was a good fight. Be honest with you. I think there were a lot of people that were knocking Keith Thurman, that were knocking Thurman. I thought Thurman, in particular, the last I want to say 3 or 4 rounds, fought well. I thought he battled. Obviously, he had the flash knockdown. It was sort of the punches couldn't that knockdown was legitimate, but he was kind of like going backwards, and Pacquiao called him with the combo, and he went down. But Thurman fought a good fight. To me, it's just about Pacquiao's brilliance, and I think people forget in regards to Pacquiao because he's not flashy. He's not somebody that's going that has great knockout power. He's not that type of he's not that type of fighter. But as a technician, as someone who Pacquiao is kind of like a dude is an I want to say he's Federer like for my tennis fans out there as far as you know artistry, as far as his understanding of the sport. This guy just understands the sport. He's like a Jedi in the ring, and you make a mistake against Pacquiao, he's gonna make you pay for it. He has his chin is world. He has one of the great chins of all time because he took some shots. Like he took some shots that I felt like would have knocked other guys out. So I didn't have any real problem with Thurman's approach. I just think Thurman is fighting someone who is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think Pacquiao is a iconic, legendary fighter. He's one of the greatest fighters. The guy there's a reason why he's been champion in like 8 different divisions. He's on that level as a fighter, and he's somebody who you take for granted because he doesn't do a lot of talking, and because he's 40. But that guy's an all-time great, and he showed you on Saturday night. And did he get tired the last 2 or 3 rounds? He's 40. Yeah, I thought he got a little tired, but he controlled that fight basically from start to finish. And again, I want to see him fight Errol Spence. I don't want to see him fight Floyd Mayweather. I don't want to see that again. I didn't want to see it in 2015. I definitely don't want to see it in 2019 or 2020. So I don't want to see that fight. But I could, I wouldn't mind seeing Pacquiao against Sean Porter or Errol Spence. I think Spence would beat him, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Pacquiao still showed you that he has a lot left in the tank even at the age of 40. And again, same thing with Roger Federer. Once you get that, once you get to that level of mastering your sport, you want to call it 10,000 hours. Malcolm Gladwell with outliers and the 10,000 hours. He certainly, I'm sure he's done 10,000 hours of boxing training, and his dedication to his sport and the time he spent on his sport. But once you get to that level, it's like I said, he becomes like a Jedi. It doesn't. It's almost, unless you've had some type of major injury or you just physically break down, you can extend with nutrition, with he has a great trainer. Freddie Roach is obviously a Hall of Fame trainer. You can extend your career. And again, Federer and Pacquiao have shown that they're just, for the most part, they are just smarter than the competition. And sometimes, that will certainly outweigh maybe a loss of a step, or not, in Federer's case, not being able to serve 140 miles an hour, but just knowing where to hit the ball, knowing how to knowing where to place the ball, knowing how he, is going to schedule all his tournaments, and basically, in terms of Federer, just schedule all his tournaments, taking care of his body. It's next level type shit. It really is. And again, that was a great. It was an entertaining fight to say the least. Because the guys actually threw punches and connected. That wasn't one of these fights where it was kind of like we're gonna wait for the first couple rounds to fill it. Fill it out. Let's fill out for the first 2 or 3 rounds. It's kind of like try to be patient. No, God, they came out there throwing blows from round one throughout. There were not that many dead spots in that fight. So we'll see what Pacquiao does next. One guy that didn't put up a fight over the weekend, and it really started on Thursday, was Tiger Woods. Shane Lowry wins his first major. Kepka again continues this remarkable string of top four majors, top four finishes in a major. This is the fifth straight major that he's finished in the top four, 7 out of his last 8. But to me, the story was what Tiger Woods did not do. Tiger Woods came to the British Open after a month off and basically mailed it in. And I don't think I've ever said that. I've been watching Tiger Woods play majors since I would say '96. So basically 23 years. I don't think Tiger Woods has ever mailed in a major. Has he had majors where he hasn't played great? Sure. Has he had majors where he's missed a cut? Sure. But I've never seen Tiger Woods mail in a major like he mailed in the British Open. I mean, you talk about his comments after, I just want to go home, talking about his body. I'm like Tiger, you had a month off. And it's not like last year he said he played a lot, he played too much, and it took a physical toll. Okay. You wanted to see where your body was at, excited to get back. You were excited that you weren't feeling any pain. I understand it. I understand it. You were at a point to where you didn't even think that you were going to play golf again. So he was just happy to be on the course. This year, you come out, you know where you are physically. You had the reps. You had the reps from 2018. You win the Masters. You play well at the beginning of the year. Um, okay, you have a bad PGA, decent U.S. Open. You take a month off between the U.S. Open and British Open. So to come out here and put up a fight. I mean, you like to now to miss the cut was just is absolutely embarrassing, and even more so, not just missing the cut because Rory McIlroy missed the cut and he was the favorite to win the tournament, but it was just his attitude and what he said after he missed the cut. That after he missed the cut, it was seemingly like he didn't have a chance. Like he came in with a losing mindset. Like he didn't believe that he had any chance to win this tournament. And at this stage in his career, if he wants to tie Jack Nicklaus, you can't be tossing away majors. The next major is until April 2020, which is the Masters. Okay, this was the last with the schedule change. This was the last major of the year in golf. Again, I don't understand how a guy could come in having basically a month off and be complaining about his body or just not ready for the tournament. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Now again, overall, you want to look at Tiger's year up to this point, you have to consider it a success because he won the Masters. Okay, he added to his major total when no one, and me included, expected him to win another major because I didn't before he won that Masters. So from just that alone, he's had a great year. But to sit up here and like not to basically to mail it in, and I thought again, looking at looking from the outside in, looking at his comments, I thought he mailed it in. I really thought that he was done before I thought the tournament was over before it started. So it was just a horrible British Open for Tiger Woods. We'll see what 2020 looks like. We'll see how he navigates the rest of his schedule. You have the playoff. You have just the only big events that you have moving forward for the rest of the year is the FedEx playoff that they have. And then after that, this is what made it even look worse. After that, you hear about this skins game in Japan that he's going to be a part of in 2020. So which it's just the timing of that news coming out was not the greatest considering, because no one I could care less about that. At this point, I only listen. Tiger Woods is worth about $500 million. So I don't think. I don't think Tiger Woods is playing for money at this point in his career. So, so he'll probably get a ton of money to play in that. Certainly, like just probably like he got some money to play, a lot of money to play in the Tiger versus Phil that last Thanksgiving weekend that everybody watched on Bleacher Report. I mean, no one cares about that. I mean, people will watch, but from a standpoint of your place in the pantheon of golf, in terms of at this point, it's about chasing Jack Nicklaus. At this point, that is the question that that anyone cares about. That's the only question anyone cares about in regards to Tiger Woods. Can he catch Jack Nicklaus? Can he tie or eventually surpass Jack Nicklaus? No one cares about your earnings. No one cares about you know these tournaments overseas, these little head to heads with Phil Mickelson. No one cares about that. No one. No real golf fan cares about that. As somebody again, as somebody who's excited to see him back in the mix, who was thrilled to see him win the majors, win the Masters. The only thing I'm thinking about with Tiger Woods, in regards to Tiger Woods, is how many more majors can he win? Roger Federer has made it clear that he's not playing in a lot of tournaments outside the majors. It's all about the majors for Roger Federer. Period. That's it. So great job, good job, great job for Shane Lowry, Koepka. Terrible for Tiger Woods and Roy McIlroy. Like when is McIlroy going to win another major? Like how many times is he going to be favored or talked about as being a contender before he comes up big and wins another major? We kind of been giving Rory a pass a little bit. I feel like Rory hasn't, maybe because we've been overshadowed by what Tiger did at the Masters and what Koepka's been doing. I think Rory should be taking some more heat because he hasn't done anything in the last 3 or 4 years in major tournaments. Period. And I don't care about, again, I'm past the point. I think he's past the point where I don't care about if he's winning how many Buick Opens or how many Tour Championships. Nobody cares about that anymore. He can he win a career can he complete the career Grand Slam? Can he win a Masters? Can he win another major for that standpoint? So Rory's been getting a little pass here because he has not been a major factor as far as winning majors in a while now. He hasn't won one in at least, I want to say it's been at least 3 or 4 years off the top of my head that he hasn't won a major. So we'll see what Tiger can do for the rest of the season, how he navigates his schedule moving forward. Friday, you had another legend. It was a weekend or for legends in the world of sports and pop culture. Tom Cruise, Top Gun, Maverick. And let me tell you how much of a boss Tom Cruise is. Of course, one of the biggest movie stars ever. So the trailer comes out. The trailer's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, two and some change. Top Gun, Maverick, Tom Cruise. That's it. That's it. No starring, no director credits, no Ed Harris credits, no Jennifer Connelly, Val Kilmer, who's also in it. Nah. Top Gun, Maverick, Tom Cruise. Every scene Tom Cruise was in, it was about 4 or 5 scenes. Every scene he was in. Listen, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad. That is the epitome of being a boss. Like no, I know Ed Harris is a legend. I get it. Jennifer Connelly's been around forever. The director of it, cool, big deal. He's directing, whatever. This is about me. It's about me. Top Gun Maverick. Not just Top Gun. Top Gun Maverick. You want to be a boss, you can learn a lot from Tom Cruise. That is boss status. And again, even though it'll be basically almost a year away, It'll be coming out like I think June 26th of 2020. It has been a long anticipated movie. I will be able to see it in the movie theaters because remember it came out in 80, what, 86. Yeah, it came out in 86, and I didn't see it in 86 at the movie. So I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait till that come out. But that Tom Cruise is that's just it's not even disrespectful to the other actors. It just shows you where he's at amongst the pantheon of actors and and just the type of power he has. Just get his name on it and his name and his name only. So um, that is what's going on as far as the world of pop culture. You had The Lion King making $185 million. I've heard good things about the movie, great things about the soundtrack. Certainly recommend. I'm gonna check it out in the next couple of days. Certainly recommend it to go see it. Again, $185 million opening weekend. Um, you had, of course, Spider-Man is still out. The next big one is Hobbs and Shaw. That's August 2nd. That's the next big one to come out as far as as far as the box office goes. So give the Lion King a couple weeks to clean up, a couple weeks to clean house. Spider Man again. Got a chance to see Spider Man a couple weeks ago. I didn't talk about it on the last podcast. I was looking forward to the next one. Again, Marvel. Marvel. Everything Marvel touches is gold at this point. It's very highly unlikely that Marvel is going to mess up a movie. We have a special guest tomorrow scheduled on the podcast, so stay tuned. We have a special guest tomorrow on the podcast, so we're looking forward to that. As always, this is the Real Deal Podcast, telling it like it is with no apologies. You can listen to this podcast on streaming live here on my YouTube channel, Real Deal Podcast, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes after this podcast is over. Of course, we'll have this also on Blog Talk Radio as well. You better find it at itunes.apple.com / Real Deal Podcast as well. So you can find me at a lot of platforms. As always, this is the Real Deal Podcast, telling like it is with no apologies. Thanks for listening. I'm out.